He challenged his father because of a curse on his people, betraying his family in search of the truth, awakening the evil behind the curse. Now they must race to save their people or die trying.
Hi, I'm Sam.
What's up, George? What's going on in the House of Craze tonight?
What's going on, Sam? In the House of Craze tonight, we have Mr. Jonathan Hop. He is the writer of Journey to the Middle Kingdom #2. It's on Kickstarter live. Coming up next.
Let's get
go.
it.
We are the only show for independents all around, giving you a platform to spread your word all over town. Catch the Craze is the place to promote to your fans with the dream of Medina and Sam the Crazy Man. Subscribe to our show and never miss an episode. It's time to get your mans, listen to us on the go. Updated every week, we never miss a day. Join the squad, come on in. It's time to catch the Craze. If you are an independent, catch the Craze. Making moves on your own, catch the Craze. On your grind in the streets, catch the Craze. Join the movement, catch the Craze.
Yeah, George, we did it again. Come on now. You know you want to do it. Catch the Craze. Welcome to Catch the Craze podcast. I'm your host with the most, Sam the Crazy Man Variant. I am with
George the Dreamer Medina. What's happening, Sam? Welcome everyone to another exciting episode of Catch the Craze. We are live again tonight. Another Kickstarter going down. Sammy's been holding it down with the lives the last few days, so
Crazy.
it's been quite a week.
What a week.
It's been quite a week, but we're back. We're here again. We have Jonathan Hop coming up next. He's got a Kickstarter that is live right now, guys. He's got 2 days, 62 hours to go. We got to get him funded. He's a little under half of what he needs.
He needs
$2,000 goal.
Yeah, 1,100 to go.
Yeah,
49
so-
backers.
So we really gotta rally behind and see how far we can get them. But yeah, what's up, Sam? I see you got the locks loose. The locks are loose.
I never bring out the locks, yo. Bring them out, bring them out. I never bring them out. And, but I'm burnt. I'm tired, kid.
Woo!
Yo, I've been working nonstop. Trying to promote the Kickstarter, promoting the Craze.
That's right.
Creating
That's right.
content, interviewing. I'll be on 3
man.
podcasts tomorrow as a guest. I'm spent, bro. I'm spent.
DED.
Yes.
Oh,
I'm
man.
spent.
Yo, big shout out to Jonathan Syfax, who's in the audience right now. Big Johnny, what up? Yeah, bro. Damn. Well, anyway, for those that are going to be coming on and those that are watching right now, don't forget, Forbidden is live on 2 platforms. My man is crazy. The Crazy Man threw it up on Kickstarter and Indiegogo, so they're on both. They're on both platforms.
What was I thinking?
You crazy, dog.
Yes, I know. So, I'm showing some of the images. That on the screen right now is the variant cover by John Coates. This is the Indiegogo exclusive cover that's up on the screen right now, which is done by Primate Santra. He did a fantastic job. That's the Kickstarter exclusive cover by Anibal Royals Compollos. He'll be on with us in an hour. We're going to be live with Anibal. That is the graphic novel cover. Again, that cover by Anibal Arroyos Compollos. So you can get volume 1, which is pretty dope. And then this is a piece that I did, a crossover promotion with Philip Russett's Tragedy and Forbidden. There's Deseret and there's Tragedy with the villains in the background. And this piece which is David Hunter and the Creepers. All of these are available on the campaign. We're trying to get up to 100 backers. This is the homage cover that I did, homage to Kingdom Come by Alex Ross. Comes with a certificate of authenticity signed and numbered. So that's just a few of the amazing things that are available on the campaign. There's 23 add-ons at checkout. 23. I just finished the add-ons today. So there's a whole lot of add-ons on the campaign. Look, I worked on this for 20 years. This is my heart and soul. The characters, they're my babies, and I'm trying to get it into as many hands as possible. The last Forbidden campaign was 50 backers. I'm trying to double that on this time. I'm hoping that all 50 return. We've hit a lull. Yesterday and today, it's been like crickets. It's like you go to a convention and they put you in a corner and nobody comes to the corner. That's where I am. I'm like this. Hello, will you buy my book? Hello, hello. And nobody. Everyone's like, and the only time they come by is ask for the bathroom, and I'm like, oh damn. And so I'm really trying to get this to as many hands as possible. So please share it out. Take a chance on the book. You can even get the issue 0 digital, just to get a feel for the story if you don't want to take the plunge into all 3 issues. Been consecutive, 3 issues in 1 year. And the book is done. It's not like you're going to be waiting for it outside of the printing and shipping. So it's a great fantasy. You'll find out exactly what happens to Sin and Arius. And you'll learn about Yeho's past.
Yeho.
Yeah, you'll learn about his past. You'll be introduced to some new characters. You'll see the transformation of David Hunter. So there's a lot of good stuff that happens in this issue, and it's 32 pages. So I'm hoping that you're willing to take the risk and join in with me. I know everybody's looking for the same, there's a standardized look in comics and or like the pop culture stuff. This is not. This is true epic fantasy tales, and I'm hoping that you join the ride with me.
Yeah, man. I mean, listen, there's tons of stuff out there. There are a lot of, talented creators and artists and writers and all that other stuff. This is another one of them. Yes. My man right here, Mr. Samuel Vera, is another talented creator that deserves, your support and should totally get it. I mean, this thing is a fantasy series. Not too many people, I think, tackle those things. I haven't seen as many in the campaigns that we've actually had on the show, or it's definitely something that it's along the lines of like Lords of the Rings and Game of Thrones, like that, those fantasy tales and stuff like that. It's a fun book, man. It's got some really good family dynamic. Like I like the fact that it's got a family dynamics, a father and son. It's very, and we said it in the last campaign, it's very Shakespearean in the way it plays out. And you want to get on this, man. You guys need to check it out. Read the book. If you guys have 0 and 1, you need to get number 2. I mean, don't wait. Get on there, pledge to the next one, and this one is going to be, as of right now, it's the last one until next fall. So don't worry. He's like, Sam's not going to hit you up for another one. Not unless this one. Unless this one, unless this one
flops. I don't know. So yeah.
But yeah, man, support it. Get out there and get on Kickstarter or Indiegogo. I mean, that was the thing, right? People were like, well, I don't really do Indiegogo. So you're like, all right, cool, it's on Kickstarter. I'll put it on Kickstarter. All right, I don't really do Kickstarter. All right, well, it's on Indiegogo. There's really no reason not to do it. It's on both at the same time. It's at the same time. You don't like Indiegogo? Yeah. You don't like Indiegogo? There's the link.
It's the last time I'll do anything like that again. Johnny says, you got the hair going. All you need is a white background, a flamingo shirt, and a beach, and you'd be Sammy P.I. Yeah, I'm going to P.I. you in a second. Yes.
This kid is looking like Lord Vox right now. Lord Vox in the house.
I didn't have time. I was like, normally I strap it up and I put the hat on. I was like, I got time. I'm tired. I haven't even worked out. I've been so tired.
Damn. Working on. You're looking like Fat Thor and shit in a few days. Be careful, bro. Be careful.
I'm gonna be 4.
I don't mean to body shame you or anything
I'm gonna
like
be
that.
4.
I'm just saying.
Yeah, I can't even flex anymore. I'm so weak.
It hurts.
Yeah, it hurts, bro. I can't even sleep. I'm so tired. But not. It's just between. It's the last time I'll run simultaneously. It's a lot of
Well,
work.
it's an experiment, right? You
Yeah,
were
it's a
testing
lot
it
of
out.
work. It's a lot of work creating graphics for both. Having exclusive covers, doing all this. It's a lot of work. But again, the whole purpose for me, it's really about getting it into the hands of as many people as possible. Even if everybody just bought a digital copy, and didn't want the physical, to be able to get people to read the book. That's the challenge, and that's what I'm hoping that people will want to do, is read the book.
Yeah. I mean, listen, as an independent artist, the more eyes on your product, the better, right? It's not, at this point, you got to be honest, it's not about the money. It's not about making thousands and thousands of dollars.
No.
All this does right here, these campaigns, it pays for shipping, it pays for printing.
That's it.
And hopefully, and this one actually, you're trying to pay the artist,
the colorist.
the colorist,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
But any money coming into the pocket of Sam is not happening, unless by some miracle, bro, in 30 days you got like $50,000 and 800
Unless some
pledgers.
silent investor decided just to do a tip and drop in a couple of G's in the tip jar, but outside of that, there's because the way I did the math, when you're pledging, you're not going to a second screen to be charged shipping. It's all there incorporated. So when I did the math, it covered the book, printing, shipping, the whole bit. So I don't see anything. It covers the bags and boards. It covers the boxes. It covers all that stuff. So I don't see. I've to this day, since we've done a campaign, I haven't seen a nickel for many of it because it went right back. Yeah. And at times I had to come out of pocket. Because I underestimated international shipping. And that cost me a pretty penny. So, so the reason why I do this is really just to get readers. Yeah.
Because that's what it's about, right? It's about getting those. At the end of the day, that's what the big boys also want to look is. Okay, let me see people are actually reading this thing. Is it worth investing in it? And so. This is what helps do that in a sense. It's it's that kind of thing. So, and listen, this book is completed. It's not like it's not. Right. The artists, Sam paid for the artist out of pocket, so the whole book is done. It's not like you're gonna be waiting, other than any shipping delays because of the post office.
Right.
There really is, you can't say, oh well, Sam put this campaign out. He ain't even got the money. He's not even ready for it.
Right.
Nah, it's not the case. It's already done. As a matter of fact, the book, this particular book is colored.
It's 100%.
So you're not even waiting for it to be colored.
In fact, this
one is colored.
And the follow-up issues are colored.
Oh, there you go.
So the only one that's not is the last issue. So everything is ready, which is a great thing. You're not gonna be. What happens is 2 weeks after the campaign ends, I get the finance from the campaign. So it takes 14 days to get it from Kickstarter. They do all their adjustments or back-end adjustments, and they take their money and the accounting, whatever, and they send it to you.
Yeah.
So then I get it on the 14th day. That same day, I hit send. I upload the files and I hit send to the printers and the manufacturers, whether it's the trading cards, whatever it is, it gets sent. It takes about 2 weeks, 14 days, another 14 days to get it back from everybody consecutively. Then it'll take me 5 days, based on how many, to pack every single one of them, bag and board them all, pack them, put the bubble wrap, whatever it is, get them in the boxes, create the shipping labels, all that stuff, because I do the labels here. So you're looking at 5 weeks after the campaign, 6 weeks max, if there's no shipping issues or printing issues.
Yeah, man. So make sure you go to Kickstarter, go to Forbidden. At this point, if you want to go to Kickstarter right now, leave the show and go pledge, we'll take that. You know what I mean? I'm not even telling you to stay and watch this whole thing. Just go pledge. Yes. Go pledge. And while you're at it, pledge to our friend who's going to be on tonight, Mr. Jonathan Hop. Journey to the Middle Kingdom, issue number 2, The Princess of Yalang. Is the campaign that he's promoting.
Yes, and he is in the waiting room right now.
Oh, is he already? Wow.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, so if you want, I mean, we can go to him. But yeah, guys, make sure that you guys pledge. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Also, we didn't even say that to you at the beginning.
Yes.
Make sure you subscribe to the channel, hit the like button, and make sure you hit that little bell so that you know when these shows are coming on, because they're coming fast and furious.
Yes.
So
absolutely.
Yeah.
And if you want to promote your book and you find it difficult to get on shows, and here's another way that you can promote your campaign or your special event.
Are you sitting at home wondering how you're going to spread the word about that Comic-Con that you're about to appear at, and you want to get some press? How about your first book signing? How do you spread the word so you get an audience there? Or that first panel at a Comic-Con? Who do you talk to? Or even your first crowdfunding on Kickstarter or Indiegogo? The world is turning to podcasting to get the word out. Why not you? Sponsor an episode of Cast the Craze and start promoting yourself today.
All right, we're bringing in our guest. And there he is.
Hey, how's it going?
Welcome.
What's up, Jonathan? How are you, man?
Doing good. How you guys doing?
Good. It's good to have you on the show. Welcome, man. Welcome. We were looking. Well, I was looking at the at your campaign, bro. The artwork on this thing is incredible. I mean, and unfortunately, it's the first thing we see, right? We're in a visual medium, so you see the artwork first, and then you go into the reading of the pages. But as far as the aesthetic, the way it looks amazing. And for those who just joined us back, we are now with Jonathan Hopp. We're going to be talking to him about his Kickstarter campaign that is live right now. Make sure you guys go to Kickstarter and check that out. It's the Journey to the Middle Kingdom, issue number 2, The Princess of, is it Yelang or Yelang? Am I saying that correct? Yelang. Okay.
Yep.
Okay, cool. So enough of me talking. Jonathan, tell us a little bit about yourself, and then we'll go into your history. But tell us a little bit about yourself first.
Sure. So I'm from Detroit, Michigan. This is my first foray into doing comics. So I had issue 1 of Journey to the Middle Kingdom called The Legend of the White Snake Maiden. I did a Kickstarter for that back in July, and that was my first comic book I ever published ever. It's me. I got a team of 3 people. Myself, I'm the writer. My friend Demas is the artist, and we have a letterer. Her name is Novella. She lives in Italy. And so we got a team of 3 to kind of bring us together because it's too much work for one person. This was actually, I had this idea for the comic about 10 years ago. And I tried doing Kickstarter way back in the day. I didn't know what I was doing. It didn't work. But then I got older. I'm like, you know what? I really want to sit down, take my script, redo it. And yeah, I got issue number 1 out. So I guess I'm new to the comics world. I'm a software engineer by day. So this is kind of my creative outlet.
Nah, that's awesome, brother. That's awesome. But tell us about little Jonathan. What was little Jonathan like back in the day growing up? Where did you grow up? Did you grow up in Michigan, or
actually, I'm from Oak Park.
Oak Park. Okay. Tell us about growing up in Oak Park. What were you into? What were you reading comics? Were you watching cartoons? Were you playing on the computers? What were you doing?
I was doing all that stuff, man. I was
all of the above.
All of the above. Just check every single box, man. It's just I watched Saturday morning cartoons. I was like a typical kid, right? I love X-Men. X-Men were the bomb. I used to read amazing. See, I didn't actually. I didn't have enough money really for comics all the time, so I just got them usually during Christmas or my birthday. And my mom had no idea about comics at all, so what she'd do is she'd just buy the bargain. So she'd go to the store, they had a box of just random comics that they put together you can get for $5 or whatever. And so I read sometimes you get X-Men comic, then you get Super Bowl, and no one's heard of that before, but it was in there. I thought it was cool. Just these off-brand comic book superheroes, but you get Silver Surfer in there too.
Right. Yeah.
And so I got into the medium when I was a kid. I used to do a lot of writing, actually. When I was in 4th grade, I had a really good English teacher, and she what happened was you're a kid, they start you with writing a little paragraph and stuff. And so we're in school, she goes, okay kids, I got your paragraph. I had a 6 to 7 page thing already done, and I had a plot map because it was going to start this whole epic saga, and she's like, what's this? I had to walk her through it, this is where characters, this is what they did, and she's like, She's just like staring at me.
Like, yo, what the hell is this? But let me ask you a question, Jonathan. So when you're that young, like I always thought, like as a little kid, that's when you're the most creative. You're fearless, right? When you're writing, you don't think about plot, character development. You don't think about any of that. You're just in this world and you're creating. Is there any of the stuff that you wrote when you were a little kid, has that made it into like today's Jonathan's world when you're writing yet, or no? Or is that stuff you're like, yeah, that was really just trash, bro? Like I really not using any of that.
I'm using the skills I learned. So it's not necessarily the ideas. Like I said, she was real good. Once she saw me writing, she's like, okay, well, she told my mom to give me a word processor. And so my mom's bought me one. And after I was done playing Tetris on it, then I would start, it was one of those old word processors that would type so you hear like the banging. So you feel like a detective, like you're sitting there like, rainy night and you're just sitting there typing, you can hear the keys bang. That was my favorite thing to do when I was a kid. So like I learned like about, she basically taught me like plot and structure and characters, and I would just write story after story, and some didn't make any sense, but whatever. So I take a lot of that love of writing, and that just like being able to sit down and just be creative and focused 4 times. That's probably the few ways to get me to sit still. So I kind of carried that into adulthood. I'm still basically a daydreamer. I spend a lot of my time just like thinking stuff up. I'm not, the world is kind of normal. You know what I'm saying? Like I need to like spice it up a bit in my head.
So at what point in your life did you move to China? Were you living there or was it temporary?
So, okay, after college, I moved to Korea for 2 years to teach English. That was fun. I moved to China for 2 years, teach at Chinese high school. That was a lot of fun. So I was just there for like 2 years in a city called Qingdao, which is on the Pacific Ocean. So like here's Korea, here's Qingdao, like right across from each other. So I got to see the ocean outside my apartment. It was a blast, dude. Like, it was, I've been around like to other countries and things like that. Since I was a kid, we moved around a bit, like Germany and France and things like that. So like living in another country was pretty cool. But China specifically just had this like, because everything was new when they were building things. Like people don't like kind of get that, like they start like the area I lived in. I talked to my neighbors. No one lived there like 4 years period. It was like basically a forest on like a lake. And then like 4 years later, snap your fingers, you got high rises and skyscrapers.
Wow.
Damn.
And so it was happening. You know what I'm saying? Like stuff was changing, stuff was moving. And I kind of was cool to be part of that.
So why teach overseas versus the U.S.?
Wait, hold on a second, Sam. Did you learn the language out there?
Yes.
Oh, okay, go ahead.
So what made you want to go and teach there?
So once I graduated, like, I don't know, I just had this like, I want to just go out and see something like totally brand new. I don't want to just like hang here. And so like I was looking at different places, and the school in South Korea was the one that had the best like options for me. And I was just like, you know what? Just do it. Like don't have to think too much. Just do it. And so I went there for 2 years, and I was like, okay, I kind of like this gig, but I like to see different countries. So you know what I'm saying? I switched. I got back home and started teaching the United States once after I was overseas for a bit, but like I want to just, I said, I'm just the kind of person that's got to do something fresh and new every now and again. I can't just have the same day over and over again. So I'm like, well, every day is going to be a new day in China.
So what was the adjustment like for you? What did you have to adjust to? What was different that was kind of awkward and you had to like recalibrate?
So I learned my major in college was Japanese and Chinese. So I spoke some, but like there's a big difference between learning from like a book and taste and like talking to people on the street. Like they ain't the same.
But that's how you learn it though, right? That's the best way to learn it. I remember going like when like I probably would have never learned English if I didn't come to the United States. Like I would have just stayed speaking Spanish because I don't think you learn the language until you actually have to use it. You know what I mean?
It's totally different.
It's totally different. You're right. Yeah. No, go ahead, man.
No, it's just like, okay, so like also like the thing about people who go overseas, right? There's a lot of people that came over to teach English, they stay in their little enclave, just them. And that's where they stay. I was like at the supermarket, like right, the fruit counter. I was, the lady that's like selling chickens and stuff like that. The dude's got the fresh fish. I'm sitting there talking broken Chinese until I can figure out how to communicate. And then you get better. You force yourself to get better.
Yeah.
Because at first you have to get over the whole like you sound like a moron thing, because you just don't sound like a moron.
Yes. And that's a hard language to learn, bro. That's a tough language to learn from just the alphabet itself, if you want to call it you know what I mean? Like what, just from that to like just the pronunciation pronunciation and all that other stuff.
Pronunciation is something because like it could be the same word, but it means completely different things. Like ma is horse, but if you say ma, that's marijuana.
What?
So you
Imagine you getting pulled over by a cop and you say "ma," and they're like, "Oh, freeze!" He's got marijuana. He meant horse.
And there's all sorts of words like that where you just have to pronounce them right. And they just look at you like they'll get you, but they'll have this look in their face like, the hell did you just say?
So for those who are watching, we're talking to Jonathan Hopp. Interesting. I mean, this dude is the ish, man. You lived in China and South Korea, explored Singapore.
Fantastic.
You graduated with an MA in Japanese studies. You have a BA in Asian studies. Like you've done it. You really
lived the dream.
have delved yourself into that culture. Your interests are Chinese folklore and fairy tales. According to your bio. When did this become like other than traveling to that place, right? Was that something that you always had an interest in learning about? Or is that something that just was born from you being out there and you were like, oh, this is cool. I'm out here now. I'm going to learn it.
So good question. So when I was a kid, I loved Greek and Norse mythology. Like I made a point to like learn like the Greek god of whatever. Like I love that. All the stories and like the original version and then the changed one. So when I got to China, learning to read was the hardest thing. I got good at speaking. I can go to the store, order something, go to McDonald's, whatever. But then like reading was like, because you gotta learn like 5,000 some odd characters to be able to like read a newspaper, like straight up memorize them.
Wow.
And so
How old are you, John?
Oh, when I was in China, it's like 31, 32.
Oh, wow.
Okay. All right. Damn, dude, you don't what? Like 31, 32?
No, I was like younger. So no, I was in Korea when I was 25.
Yo, how did you learn that language, bro? Like, I came here when I was 7, and if I came here at 31, I would not be speaking English right now.
I'm still learning Ebonics. I don't understand this.
Yo, that's crazy, bro. So, I'm sorry, man. So 31. So you're learning how to the pronunciations and the characters. So go ahead.
Yeah, so like one of the things when I was in college, I was learning Japanese, right? So like they're really good. They teach you speaking, reading, writing, the whole thing. But you got to be able to like write. And so I was just like, So here's the thing. The way the writing system works, just real simply, is you have one character for one idea. So it's not like English or Spanish where you take like words, right? Like you have like abuela or something like that. You say abuela, like you put the layers together and then it makes a word. Chinese ain't like that. It's here is the symbol and it stands for mother. And you just have to memorize that. And so like that's like there it is. So if you want to get good at it, what I would do is I would try to visualize what the character meant. Like if it was fire or something like that, I'd picture like flames coming out of it. I'm super visual, so I gotta have a picture in mind to like learn something. I can't just learn something just by like rotely doing. I gotta have something like extra to get my brain going. So I would imagine this. That's how I got the idea for the comic book, because they have brushes that they use to write Chinese characters in the air, and what they write becomes real. That's where I got it from. It was like that original device I used to try to learn to read the language.
Yeah. Well, you kind of started talking about the comic. I don't know if you have another question about his background, Sam, but I'm interested in knowing what this book is about.
It was the question that I had was the influence for Journey to Middle Kingdom. Was that based on the time that you spent?
Yeah.
Yeah, so let's talk about the title a little bit. Middle Kingdom actually is China. So let me kind of show you something. This is actually a book of fairy tales I've been using. There's a whole series of them. These two characters right here, this character means middle, this one means kingdom. And Middle Kingdom is China. That's literally what they call their country in their own language. So Journey to the Middle Kingdom is Journey to China.
Wow, okay. Fascinating.
All right.
So that's kind of like, it's like kind of my own personal journey, because it's just sort of like these, like I said, there's 12 books in this series. And this is a series that Chinese parents would buy and sit down with a kid to help them learn how to read. Because Chinese kids, I got to take a little bit, like, English kids learn how to read at a pace, but Chinese kids need a little bit more effort just because of how complicated the writing system can be. Sure. So the parents would sit down with their kid and they would, read stories, cultural stories, and pass it down to them. And so I kind of felt like I was on a journey going through all these stories, because they have a absolute treasure trove of folklore and fairy tales that a lot of people don't know nothing about.
Right.
I know I didn't at the beginning.
Right.
Is that basically what are you writing your version of those, or are you kind of being true to that to those stories?
So basically, the plot point is that there's three main characters: Jason, Michelle, and Sabrina. They're friends. They're high schoolers, and they're sent back in time by the King of the Heavens. In Chinese mythology, the King of the Heavens is the Jade Emperor. He's like the head honcho, and he tells them that the past is in danger, that they have to take part in these fairy tales and ensure that they happen as they should. So there's two parts to it. There's the original story, which I stayed true to, but there's also a synthesis because the characters are sort of inserted into the story itself, and then it becomes its own story kind of through that.
Nice. So the moment the idea was sparked in your brain, what was that moment? Where were you? And what was the first thing you did when that idea came to you?
Oh my gosh, because it's in two parts, because the brush part, the powers came first, right? Like I didn't have the characters or this idea first. It was just the powers. I thought this would be really cool to just be able to do that. And then I was sort of like, it didn't happen all at once. It was like over weeks, because my brain constantly churns. I'm always thinking about something, right? So I'd be like, well, okay, I want to have one hero, two heroes, three heroes. So over the course, like I was teaching, I was still teaching middle school at the time.
Right.
I would just take little, notebook, and I would, if I thought of something, I wrote it down. I thought of something, I wrote it down. Scratch it out, that sucks. I thought of something different, I wrote it down. And it just over the course of like 2 or 3 months, I had like a characters, I had a way in which the plot would develop, I had a goal. And then I said, okay, well, this is enough to maybe just write a script with. So it's more like an evolution with me. Like I don't have light bulb moments where maybe other people do. I have like little small bits that lead up to something.
Right.
Yeah. We have a couple of people on the chat, and Jonathan Syfax actually is a very good friend of ours. He watches the show. He says, hello, Jonathan. How are you? I'm certainly pledging. Book looks great. And then he also has a question. Are you very critical of your work as you are writing the first draft? And if so, how do you break past that? I ask because I really battle with that as a writer. So,
I'm a perfectionist, so I know exactly what he's talking about. Because I threw out the first 3 or 4 versions of the first issue. Like I thought my first script was garbage. It wasn't, but it's your own critic, right? Everyone's their own critic. They have, you know what I'm saying? Like this isn't what I really want to say. Plus, it's like you have this moment where you're like, other people might read this. It's not just me writing a notebook for myself. Another human being might like, am I okay with that? Like, and so I had been used people like I wrote short stories and just put them online or for like people in class 3, but never like I never thought to myself, okay, I'm going to actually publish something. So it took a while to get over. You have to basically tell yourself at a point it's good enough to go with, and there has to be like you just have to like make peace with yourself because you could spend forever editing your thing over and over and over again, and it will never get out.
Yeah, I agree 100%, bro. That's so true. How did you get together with your artist? His artwork is amazing, bro. Like does he do all of it? Is like he colors?
Is it.
Yeah, dude, that artwork is beautiful. How did you meet him, and how did you guys get together? How was that about?
Yeah, Demas is like a machine. Like he does the coloring, he does like the whole get-up because that's one of my things in life I wish I could do is draw. Yeah. I can write, but I can't. I really not like I try, but nah. So I met him online. I initially went through DeviantArt trying to look for an artist, and I went through about 8 people. The reason being is because I wanted to find someone I jive with, because if we're going to do a whole, I'll just like, I have a whole series planned out. Like I have the outline for the first 12 to 14 issues of the first story arc. So like in my head, I'm like, I got a big story to tell. So I got to find someone that like gets what I'm going for and, can give the finish and polish. So I talked with some people, and you know what? You just got to approach artists. Like artists are looking for work to do too, and they want to be part of something too. So I was just like, what I did is I wrote a little small psychological profile for each of the main characters. And I just said, okay, here's what the character is like. Draw them for me. Just give me their face. Like, and I was super open-ended. You could do profile shot. You could do the full body. You could do I wanted to see like, if I give you this much, do you feel me? Right. And then him and one other person, they gave me back their artwork, and I was like, damn, like it was real. Like, and Demas is like, he has like such like bright colors and a sharpness to what he's doing.
Yeah.
It's really impressive. And so I'm just like, no, I like you, like that's them. Like characters I'm thinking of, that is them on the page. Like we got to work together.
Nice.
Yeah, that looks great, man.
Yeah, the coloring, everything looks great.
Sick.
So now you started off with the webcomic?
So yeah, exactly. So I basically just said, okay, well, let's see if I can, you know, test the waters, right? Like I would put out every Wednesday and Friday just a page, and then keep on the schedule. I've been pretty good with the schedule so far. You know, Demas is ahead of where we're at, so it was pretty easy to make sure we stay on time every single time and try to build a readership, because you gotta, you know what I'm saying, you gotta find ways to get people to see your work. And I think it's really, you know, the free aspect is just, I'm basically saying like, here you can read the current issue, you can see what the art looks like, what the story looks like,
Right.
you know, just put it out there.
Right. So what was the feedback like when you decided to go that route?
The people love the artwork. They get some Avatar vibes from it, as people tell me. And people, one lady, she lives in Massachusetts. We know each other through Twitter. Her daughter's a big fan. I'm an educator. I've been teaching kids most of my life. So you know, there is an educational aspect. This is for an all ages comic. It is for everybody. Her daughter is a huge fan, which I thought was really cool. Like I never thought that I would do something that someone else would be a fan of. It was like a really like neat little moment. Like, dang, she's a fan. And she was just like, you know, like, she said it was immersive. It had, it was fresh. She said it was just different than what's out there. Like it's kind of superhero-y, but not superhero-y. You know what I'm saying? It's edutainment, but not edutainment. It's got a little bit of a lot of different things. And so it's fresh. And it's what, like why she liked it, why she, and you know, she got the comic for her kid and her kid loved it.
And now what was the feedback from the Asian community?
I actually had some of my friends who are Chinese read it. Just for like small little critiques or whatever else. And one guy he reviewed it. His wife was Chinese. I didn't even know that at the time. His wife's from Taiwan. And she, what's hilarious is that Legend of the White Snake Maiden is the motif for the first issue, which we can talk about a little bit later. But that's a very, very famous Chinese fairy tale, like Hansel and Gretel level famous in the culture. And so, like, she was stoked because we found out that her and I both watched the same television drama. Back in the 90s, they did a dramatization of Legend of the White Snake Maiden, and we both loved the same exact version. So we kind of geeked out over that. So, like, they love seeing that, like, because it's not famous in the United States. Like, people don't know it as much outside of the Jet Li movie. So she was just like, wow, you, like, got all the details and you got all the characters, and she was just geeking out over it. It was really kind of cool.
That's awesome.
Tell us about that. Well, what is that? Tell us what that story is for those that don't know.
Chinese stories are super old. Like we're talking like hundreds, if not thousands of years old. Chinese culture is like 5,000 years old. So like Legend of the White Snake Maiden is basically, it's got a bunch of different versions. The one I chose was a love story. So the White Snake Maiden is a spirit creature. So it's a little bit different Chinese mythology because you have beings that are trying to become enlightened, and they gain powers as they become enlightened. So she's still a snake, but she's not evil. So that's one of the big things you got to kind of like in a Western sense, we got to kind of switch our heads a little bit. Like these beings are like creatures, but they're not evil. So she falls in love with a human. They meet. Actually, the bridge where they meet is called the Broken Bridge. I've actually been there. It's in Hangzhou in China. You can actually visit it, which is kind of cool. And they fall in love, but a human and a spirit are not supposed to be married. So they are sort of breaking the laws of nature. What ends up happening is the Buddhist priest sees this, and he is essentially thinks that this is wrong, and he tries to express to separate the two. So long story short, he's successful. He traps the white snake in what's called Leifeng Pagoda. She's like magically trapped and separated from her lover because this Buddhist priest does not want them to be together. Right. The twist is that he's secretly in love with her. But he's not supposed to have those emotions, he's not supposed to have those feelings as a priest. Right. But he does have them, and that kind of guides his like villainy forward. The story I work with does have the happy ending where she's saved by her partner, the Green Snake Maiden, who frees her from captivity, defeats Bahai, and reunites her with her husband, her son. So that's like the version of the story I'm working with. And so in issue 1, we sort of see that as the backdrop, I explained the favor, but I also kind of show like the three main characters. One of them, her name is Michelle. She's an artist. She starts seeing the White Snake Maiden in her dreams, and she's trying to communicate with her, and she doesn't know what's going on. These are American kids; they don't even know who these people are. And then these mystical things are happening during their daily life, and then they're sucked back to the past.
Yeah. So Jason, Michelle, and Sabrina, do they in a way represent you and your journey to?
Yeah, like they each have an aspect. One of the things with characterization I really feel is good characters have aspects of real people to them. Yeah. So they're all like an amalgamation of myself and other people I know from real life. So I put one part of myself in each of them, so that they would come out real on the page as much as I can make them. So there's like I said, there's three heroes. There's sort of a triangle structure. So Jason's sort of the de facto leader. He's kind of a brash, the jock kind of guy. Like he, do first, think later.
Right.
Michelle's the artist. She's sort of the dreamer. And then they have their friend Sabrina, who's more of the nerd. And they also have different levels of Chinese because part of their power is actually writing Chinese characters. Jason's cool because he is Chinese, so he can write because his grandfather forced him to learn. But then you have Michelle, who's sort of the stand-up for the audience. Michelle doesn't know anything. Right. She knows absolutely nothing. She can't even use it. So she's sort of the, the stand-in for the actual reader. And then Sabrina maybe knows 50 because she took like a 1 year course. She's got a little bit. She can take 50 and milk them for all they're worth. So they got like different experience levels, but that helps the audience kind of to connect with them so that like it's not super weird.
Right. Well, you just got another backer. You're up to 50 now, which is pretty good.
Awesome.
So continue. Tell us about your campaign.
So this is issue number 2. Issue number 1 was the introduction where they go back in time. Issue number 2 is sort of like their first real adventure where they have to fix the past.
Right. And
I purposely picked a story that was more local. So Legend of the White Snake Maiden, like if you're Chinese, you're going to know about it. Prince of Yelang, it's more from a local area called Guizhou, which is in southern China. And I picked it because it's got really cool elements to it that I thought that would audience that's not really familiar with Chinese mythology or legends could really relate to it. It's basically about a young princess. Yelang was a kingdom. So China didn't used to be China a long time ago. It just used to be like whoever happened to own the kingdom. It was different kingdoms, and this dude was king, and that dude was king, and they fought each other, and then this new dude was king. So it wasn't like the China you see on the map today. Right. So there used to be a kingdom called Yelang, and it disappeared mysteriously a long time ago. No one knows what happened to it. It was there, they got powerful for a bit, and then bam, they were gone. And so in the story, the princess is sort of this young, she's beloved by her kingdom. She's an archer. She's an extremely good shot. Her father never had a son. So he basically says, you're going to have to take over the kingdom after I'm gone when you become queen. What ends up happening, the father remarries. There's an evil stepmother, like all good fairy tales, there's an evil stepmother. And she basically banishes the princess from the kingdom. And the princess has to wander the wilderness alone, while the queen basically rules the kingdom for her own benefit. And that's where the three main characters, Jason, Michelle, and Sabrina, sort of step in. They're dropped straight out, like just dropped literally into Yelang, and they're just like, okay, you got to figure out what the story is. You got to figure out how you fit in, how to make sure it happens as it should. And like the only person that has any real clue is Jason, and Jason may or may not have listened to his grandfather when he was teaching him these stories. So he gets bits and pieces, but he doesn't necessarily get the whole thing.
Oh man.
But that's issue 2 in a nutshell for you.
No, that sounds great, bro. It really sounds like a fun story. I think that, hopefully, within the next couple of days or a few hours or whatever you have left, that, we're able to fund it, because I would definitely love to read what happens next. Are you planning a third one after this? Are you planning another campaign for the third issue?
Oh yeah. So actually, let me show. So basically, I've already got the first 2 issues like in print. So here's issue number 2. I already have it like worked out. This isn't like when I do a Kickstarter, I'm not like, it's not like a idea. I've actually got them in print. So once it's funded, we're ready to go.
All right.
We're about 75% of the way done with issue number 3. We just got to do the final artwork, and then we'll be done.
Yeah.
And then I've already halfway through the script for issue number 4. But I have an outline for the first 12 issues. So on the Kickstarter, I have like a future, like the stories I'm going to cover. Like Chinese stories like Butterfly Lovers or the 12 Zodiac Animals. You know how people were born the year of the rat or year of the pig.
Yeah.
Like where that comes from. So like I got the stories I'm going to do in the future picked out. So like the team is just moving along.
Good, man. Good. That's awesome. So for those who are watching, make sure you go to Kickstarter and make sure you pledge.
You got another
to
backer,
Jonathan.
so you have 51 now.
All right. Let's keep it going, guys. Keep it going. So yeah, Jonathan, we're gonna have to have you back, bro, because your story is fascinating, dude. I can talk to you about the Asian folklore and all that stuff. That's so interesting because there's so much meat on that bone when you think about that culture and the stories that you can possibly tell, which I think you're doing a great job. It looks like from what I'm seeing on your website as well. As a matter of fact, can you tell everybody what your website is and where they can find you if they need, if they want to talk to you about some of this stuff?
Sure. My website is jtmkcomic.com. It's got links to my blog. It's got the actual webcomic that you can see. It comes out every Wednesday and Friday, so you can see it for free. It's got links to Webtoons. So if you missed an issue, I usually put a preview or like a sample of the issue on Webtoons, so people can still, kind of look at it. And then I'm on Twitter, jtmkcomic. We got a Facebook page. I got an email. So there's lots of places you can get to me. Twitter, I'm still learning how to use. So we're getting used to that, but I'm getting better. So, feel free to message me, rap about, Chinese culture or what do you think of the comic or, whatever you want to do.
You can't be messaged on Twitter. You have to allow it. I tried to message you today.
Oh, you can allow it? Okay, so that tells you that, I don't know anything about Twitter.
Yeah, just letting you know. I was like, why do you mean I can't message him? Yeah, fantastic. I mean, the art's amazing. Your backstory is amazing. We definitely got to have you back to really deep dive into your background. Fascinating. Congratulations. We wish you a lot of success.
Thank you.
So
Thanks,
before you go, you have a captivating audience. Give us that elevator pitch.
Right. Okay. Journey to the Middle Kingdom is a comic book for all ages. It's about 3 American teenagers who travel back in time to save the past and take part in Chinese fairy tales.
Outstanding.
Sweet, my brother. Thank you so much, Jonathan, man. We'll definitely see you soon, and good luck with everything, brother.
Right. Thank you so much.
You got it, buddy.
You got it, man. Take care.
Peace.
Yep. See ya.
All right. So now,
Jonathan. So for those watching and those who will tune in maybe tomorrow, there should be time still. Please make sure that you pledge to his Kickstarter, help him get to that goal. He's a few dollars away. I mean, a couple hundred, well, a few hundred, 1,000. But hopefully we can get him there. Because it looks like a really good book.
yeah, and there's a lot of people who wait till the end of a campaign or like towards the last minute to.
Well, this is it.
This is it. This is that moment that you've been waiting for to go in there and do your thing. So give this campaign a shot.
Yes.
And he put a lot of hard work and soul into it. So show the brother some love. And so that was another episode of Catch the Craze podcast. Don't forget, Forbidden is on Kickstarter right now and Indiegogo. We're trying to get to 100 backers. So even if it's just a digital reward, we're trying to get to 100 backers. I want to get at least 100 people to read the book. So give Forbidden a shot. The link is in the summary. And join us in 12 minutes because we're going to be live with the crew right back here on Catch the Craze podcast. Give us a thumbs up if you like this episode. Subscribe. Tell a friend. George?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Thank you, Johnny, for being on and asking that incredible question about writing. Will we see Jonathan in 12 minutes? We don't know. Find out. Stick around.
Yes, I'm Sam the Crazy Man Vera.
George the Dreamer Medina.
And we are out.
It's just easy. It's not.
Crazy. Acquiesce.
No, I was talking about my friend Acquiesce. I met him.
Say my name, right?
This is what you were thinking? Oh,
He described me. He said, I'm the...
What? Catch the Craze. You're listening to Catch the Craze. You're listening to Catch the Craze. To Catch the Craze. You are listening to Catch the Craze. Catch the Craze. You're listening to Catch the Craze.